We have this huge long tradition across most cultures which says that even when your body dies, your brain, your personality somehow exists on and lives on, and in doing so it's completely separate from your body and can be parceled off. And the zombie completely inverts that myth and says, okay, you will be immortal, but your mind won't. Your mind will be the bit that goes, and your body will just shamble along without you. And this idea that our body might be at the top of the food chain and not our mind, and our mind is just this little thing that can be brushed over, I think really that's what really scares people. My favourite one would have to be a wasp called the emerald wasp, which is a beautiful name. It's a very beautiful wasp, but it has a very dark side to it. And it preys on cockroaches, and what it does is it stings them. And when it does, it paralyzes the cockroach, but only temporarily. And then it uses that time to drive its sting again for a second sting right into the top of the head, and finds its way to a certain point of the brain and injects the venom there, and it dissolves the cockroach's free will. So when the first sting wears off, the cockroach simply stays there, and it doesn't try to escape, it doesn't run away, it doesn't do anything. And so the wasp will grab it by the antenna and lead it like it's on a leash into a little burrow, lay an egg on it, block the burrow up, and then fly off. And that little egg will hatch, the larvae will go in and begin to eat this cockroach, which is still alive. And it eats the organs in the right order so that the cockroach stays alive as long as possible. And then finally the cockroach dies, never tries to escape, never bats an eyelid, and then eventually, just like in Aliens, this wasp will erupt out of the cockroach and fly off to find another cockroach to infect. So yes, fantastic stuff. One of the most famous pieces of footage dates from about the interwar period, somewhere around the 1930s, which was called Experiments in the Revival of Organisms, which is a wonderful title. And that was produced by Soviet scientists as a kind of piece of propaganda about what they could do in biology. And they were able to keep organs alive outside of the human body, which reflects the kind of experiments that were happening at the time. And so you have a heart that's dangling from a piece of string and beating away, and they first people to, maybe not the first, but they had got into artificial circulation machines and artificial ventilation machines. And all of this culminates in this utterly bizarre and disturbing shot of a dog's head, a severed dog's head, just kept alive on a plate, and this, testing it and prodding it and poking it and showing that it's still alive. And they claim that the dog had been killed and the head had been revived several hours later, which is quite questionable, but it does reflect the research that was being done at the time. And as strange as it might seem, all of this research fed into things that right now seem completely commonplace, such as heart transplants and blood transfusions and ventilation machines. So it's always the strangest and the weirdest bits of science which end up really becoming part and parcel of modern life.